guys, so today I thought I would share a bit more of the full process behind the scenes, a little bit of a tutorial for anyone who wants to start doing fluid art and acrylic pour, Dutch pours. So the first thing I always do is to prepare my canvas. So I hammer in these wedges here with a normal regular hammer to stretch out the canvas to make sure that it is completely stretched out and you won't have any issues with the mark from the wood here on the back. And then I also tape off my back sides here with masking tape just to avoid getting too much paint on the white canvas on the back because it looks really messy. And so the next step for me, I usually use cups to place my canvas on, because if it's placed directly on your table or plastic or whatever you use to put your canvas on, the paint will stick and you will have issues when you need to remove it. So if you put it up on these, the paint will just drip off and you can scrape off the drips when it's drying. And I like to use these cups because I know that it will be 100% level. Otherwise I also have this little fella to check if it's level, so that the paint doesn't flow off either sides when you're doing these fluid art. So I'm just gonna put out my cups. There we go. One on each corner, and try to make sure that the cups are on the wooden frame and not on the canvas itself, because that may leave round marks in your painting and as well as it dries. So now I have my canvas laid out. The next thing is to mix my paints, and I like to mix only with water. I don't use any medium, pouring medium or anything like that. And so I usually use brands that have very high pigmentation to make sure that the paint will dry perfectly when I'm only using water. So I usually use Winsor & Newton or Amsterdam. And I simply just add paint into a container. I have these old paint containers which are really good because I can put the lid back on if I don't use all of the paint, and it will last. So I can reuse it. And then I usually just mix it with a stick. And this one I mixed days ago and it's actually too thick. So it's always good to check the consistency, because as your paint stands out, the consistency will change. So I'm just gonna add a bit of water just so you get an idea of the consistency that I like to have for my Dutch pours. And again, it always depends a bit on what kind of result you're looking for, what method you're using. You may need it thinner or thicker. It needs to be a little bit thinner still. So this is the consistency that I go for. Really runny, as you can see, it just runs right off the stick here. Like that, those drips. That is what I'm going for when I mix my paints. Of course, you can play around with it, find whatever works for you. But for these kind of Dutch pours, I really find that this is a good consistency because the paint moves easily over the canvas. The blow dryer doesn't have any issue in blowing out the paints. So I will mix the last ones. I have today some really pale colors, like a pale yellow, a little bit of this pale orange. I have some pearl white and pearl yellow that I will mix in there as well. I'm gonna add a bit of silver shimmer. And actually this painting is really exciting because, as some of you have seen, I have been working on a painting for Vanessa Somuayina. She's an amazing YouTuber. She's helped me a lot on my journey through some mental health things. She does card readings, and it's really fun. It's always very on point for me, and it's so soothing just to listen to her. She has a very comforting way of presenting these cards to you, and it's just really fun to watch, and I often watch it with friends. So if you want to check that out, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I'll link her channel down below. And I'm really excited that I'm getting to make this painting for her. It's a gift from me to her as a thank you for how much she's helped me for my journey, and I'm just really grateful that she's up for it and she would like to receive the painting. I did make a bigger one for her, but I'm gonna make this one with some different colors so it fits perfectly, because she really wants to use it in the videos as the background for her videos. So we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna do the pattern a bit differently this time, but the colors, we have nailed them completely now. So yeah, we are ready to start pouring. I'll just mix the last ones and I will get you guys down on the canvas with me. Okay guys, so let's create some magic here on the canvas. First, I'm gonna spread out my white paint. As you can see, it's very thin, very runny, so it's easy to spread out. I want to make sure especially I have enough on the corners and edges. It's always the more difficult part. Okay, let's try to start moving this around. So I'm gonna use my hair dryer. You can use any hair dryer, it doesn't have to be a special one. I recommend having a mouthpiece on so it's easier to control the direction. And do not have it on heat, just use the cold air. And I always start at the low setting and then I use the higher one if I feel like I need to, but it's always better to start low so you don't mess up anything. And I have to turn it on over here. Okay guys. Okay, so as you can tell, when it's this thin, it's really easy to just move the paint around and get your whole canvas covered. Now the next step is where I get my fingers messy, so I get my towel here. So I usually just dab if there's like a little spot on the canvas that isn't covered, and I also go over my edges so you can pick some of that paint off that has run off the edges here, and use that to cover up the edges really well, just to make sure it looks good all the way around, like that. I know a lot of people who do this, they use gloves so they don't get paint on their fingers, under their nails, but I really love to play with paint and fingers. I also did some finger painting. It's really just super nice to let your inner child play around with paint sometimes and get messy and not worry about looking perfect or anything like this. I think it's also about having a lot of fun in the process and just enjoying what you're doing, basically. Alright, so I think I have my edges covered. I always go over them just at the end as well when I have all the other colors laid out, just to make sure everything looks well. Now, as you may be able to tell on the camera, there are a lot of air bubbles in here, so I'm gonna use my torch here to go over those and just pop them really quick. So I'm just moving quickly over the canvas. You don't want to burn your paint by spending too much time in the same area. So just some quick movements. There we go. Now I have also a few blobs, black blobs of something. So you can just dab those out really quick. Just like that. Okay. So now we're ready to spread out our colors. And I actually want to try something different this time, because I've been playing with my designs, laying them in different ways just to get a different look and just to get a bit more interest so there's not way too much white negative space. So I'm gonna lay it out in two different directions and simply blow it out. I'm not exactly sure how I want to go with maybe up here and then one that goes up here. Maybe? Yeah, I just have to make sure there's enough space between them so they don't go over each other as well. So I'm gonna start with my orange because that's the one that we want to see the least, because it might take over a little bit and be a bit too much for the very light background that we want for Vanessa's videos. So I'm gonna do something like this. And just want to make sure there's enough space between, so I'm gonna go like this. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember now when I pour that I don't have to go all the way to the edge because the paint will blow over, so it's basically a waste of paint to lay it all the way to the edge. And then I'm gonna go with the pearl white. I have this in a tiny little squeeze bottle. It's really nice and easy to pour out from this one. Just gonna lay that in there. Just to add a little bit of shine here with the orange. And then I'm gonna come in with my yellow. Now this yellow I mixed myself with some pale yellow and a little bit of normal yellow and then a lot of white to keep it this pale color. And I think I really like how it turned out. Then I have a pearl yellow as well by Amsterdam. I'm gonna lie that in here along with the yellow. Now this one is actually a bit bigger, but we will see how it looks when I blow it out. And then I want to come in with my silver, which is very nice and runny. Just to add a bit of shine. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should finish off. I'm gonna finish off with a bit of that pearl yellow. I don't want to lay out too much paint because they might get too close to each other, these two lines. so I might have a lot of paint left over actually. Then I'm just gonna lay a little bit of white just around the edges to help it flow easier. I hope I have enough to go around. Just so that when I blow it out with my hairdryer, it flows a bit better. Just got enough here. Alright. And then I will blow the white paint over my colors. Before I blow it out, I'm just gonna pop the air bubbles that might be in here. I see some here. Alright, just like that. And now it's time to blow out my colors. So I think I'm gonna start here and then go with this one from the other end. Love this. I think the other one I tested and tried to make out, I think this one has like much more going on. There's some really beautiful cells, and those cells I only get when I do Amsterdam with water. They look like little feathers almost. Just gonna add a bit of white to that corner. Wow. I think this is really gorgeous. I am so happy with this. I was actually struggling for so long because I haven't done very pale colors before, and I didn't really feel like I got a lot out of the paintings. It wasn't really doing much for me, but this is amazing. I am so happy with this one. I think it is perfect and it's gonna look amazing in the background. Wow, I'm super excited, as you can probably tell, because I also really wanted to do something perfect for Vanessa, because wow, now I'm getting some even more beautiful cells. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. I am so happy about this. Wow. I really like the softness. beautiful. I'm really happy I ended up adding a little bit of silver in there to give it a bit more shine. I can't wait to see how this one dries, guys. Just had a little blob in there. I don't think I'm gonna touch it anymore. I think I'm just gonna take you guys down for a close-up, and then I will show you again once it's dried so you can see how the colors really... Wow, these cells down here. I think this corner is just my favorite corner. Wow, here as well, there's a lot of things going on. I might fiddle a little bit here, just give me a second. Yeah, I could tell there was some more of that pearl shine, and that's just gonna make this corner look a bit more vivid as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as it is here, and I'll take you guys down for a close-up. So this is where I just blew out that extra bit of pearl to give it a bit of shimmer in this corner. Look at that lacing in there. It's so beautiful, and you can already see the shine a lot. I really like the softness in this one. I'm so happy, and I didn't even have to fiddle a lot with it. Look, this is my favorite corner. And those are the cells, like the cloudy kind of cells that I only get with my Amsterdam paints. There's a lot of really beautiful cells and lacing. Wow. I really love this, you guys. Okay guys, so I just want to say a quick thank you to all of you for watching the video. I'm so grateful, as you can tell, that I get to make this beautiful painting for Vanessa. It's a really big deal for me, and I'm just really stoked to be able to give something back. And of course, if you came here because you saw the painting I made for Vanessa, it's possible to order paintings in any size, any colors you like. We can talk about exactly what you want for your space or your room. And yeah, if you see some of my other videos, you'll see that I'm used to using much more vibrant colors. So this was a first for me, but I'm actually really happy that I kind of got pushed a bit beyond what I usually make, because I love this result so much, and that's why I love doing commission pieces as well, because it kind of like gives me a lot of new inspiration to try new things out, and I just really love the result. So remember to stay tuned for the dried result, and please comment and let me know what you think about this. I'm absolutely stoked, but I would love to hear what you guys think. And of course, also subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will get notified when I upload new videos. I hope you guys are getting inspired and you feel like trying out painting or finding the more creative side of you. And I'm just really grateful you're all with me on this journey. So thank you so much. So guys, I have just taped off the back here of Vanessa's painting. As you can see, it leaves these beautiful clean lines on the edges all the way around. And it is time for the big reveal. So this is the finished dried piece. And I will just show you in its frame. So it's going in this beautiful silver frame, which will match nicely with her candles if she chooses to keep it in the frame, of course. It's completely up to her. I really, really love this one. I couldn't be happier. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. Happy painting.